Druvis, a beautiful and overlooked maid, discovers a bundle of forgotten love letters in an old attic and begins secretly replying, only to fall for the mysterious sender. But when the truth unravels, she learns the man behind the words may not be who he claimed to be. Was it love or a carefully crafted lie all along? Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? Hit that button for more amazing stories and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. The day Druvis found the letters was the day everything changed. She had been cleaning out the old attic of the estate where she worked as a maid, a crumbling mansion on the edge of town. Hidden beneath a loose floorboard, wrapped in faded red ribbon, was a bundle of yellowing envelopes. They were all addressed to someone named Celestine. Druvis didn't mean to pry, but the script on the topmost envelope was elegant and trembling, as though the writer had poured his soul into each loop and curve. Curiosity got the better of her. She opened the first one. My dearest Celestine, I saw you again today near the willow tree where the river bends. I didn't speak. I never do. But your smile, how can a single expression ruin a man and save him all at once? Druvis's heart skipped. She sat cross-legged on the dusty floor, reading letter after letter until sunlight faded from the attic window. Each note was more poetic than the last, some aching with longing, others burning with hope. Whoever this man was, he loved Celestine deeply, passionately, perhaps hopelessly. But as she read on, Druvis realized something else. The letters were never sent. They had been written, dated, and sealed, but left behind, forgotten. For days she returned to the attic to read. The letters made her chest tighten, her thoughts wander. She began to picture the man behind the words. He had a name, S. All letters were signed simply that, just S. Druvis was poor, invisible. She scrubbed floors and polished silver in the house once owned by the Morgans, the same family who'd bankrupted hers. Her father had died in disgrace, her mother in grief. Her heart had long grown numb, until S. And then came the letter dated only a week ago. She nearly dropped it. It read, I have written for years, knowing Celestine may never read these. But still, I write. It is my only peace. If you find these letters, stranger, know that love does not fade, even if she is gone, even if she has forgotten me. I will wait until the words return. Druvis's fingers trembled. She did something reckless. She wrote back, Dear S, I read your letters. I am not Celestine, but I couldn't bear to let your words vanish into dust. They made me feel things I'd forgotten were real. So forgive me for pretending, for writing you back. I just couldn't not reply. She signed it, C. The next morning, she left the letter in the hollow tree behind the house, the same tree mentioned in several letters. A week passed, then 2. She thought he might never write back, until a new envelope appeared in the hollow. To Celestine, or whoever you are. I should be angry, but I'm not. I suppose anyone who reads my letters has already stolen my heart. Tell me, if not her, then who are you, and why do you care about a stranger's sorrow? They began exchanging letters weekly. Druvis became someone else in her replies, not quite Celestine, not quite herself. Through words, they shared secrets, dreams, regrets. They laughed, wept, and even argued. She never dared to ask who he truly was. She imagined him a traveling poet, a soldier haunted by war, a lonely noble in exile. The truth didn't matter. Only the letters did. Druvis had skin the color of deep mahogany and eyes that glimmered like warm amber when the sun hit just right. Her natural curls framed her face like a halo, and her cheekbones, sharp and graceful, could have earned her a place on magazine covers had life gone another way. More than once, someone had told her she had a face card no one could fold, but in a world that valued pedigree over poetry, no one ever looked long enough to see it. But fate has a cruel rhythm. One rainy morning, Druvis's employer, Mrs. Hargrave, called her into the parlor. Waiting beside her was a tall man in a charcoal coat. He had dark hair, striking green eyes, and a scar across his cheek. This is Sebastian Morgan, Mrs. Hargrave said. He's here about the estate. Druvis's breath caught. S. He didn't recognize her. Of course not. She was just a maid, a speck. But she knew him instantly. Sebastian, the youngest son of the Morgans, the very family that had ruined hers. the man she'd fallen in love with through ink and parchment. The next day, she didn't leave a letter. She avoided the tree, avoided him. Her chest burned with confusion. Was this fate's way of mocking her? Of course, he was a Morgan. It made sense now. The pain in his words, the grief, the guilt. Had he known all along who her family was? Was this all a game? But then, a letter appeared anyway. Celestine. Or stranger, why did you stop writing? You've become the ghost I fear most, one I let in too deep. I don't know your face, but I know your soul. And now you've vanished. Druvis wept reading it. She wrote one final reply. Dear S, your words made me feel alive, but I am not who you think. I'm Druvis, the daughter of the man your family destroyed. I never meant to deceive you, but I couldn't stop once I started. I'm sorry. Goodbye. She left it in the hollow tree and tried to forget him. But love, once planted, refuses to die quietly. A week later, Sebastian appeared in the attic. He held the final letter in his hand. Druvis, he said softly. She froze. I read every letter twice. I figured it out days ago. She turned, eyes full of fear and defiance. Then why are you here? To humiliate me? He stepped forward. To tell you something in person. My family did terrible things. I left them long ago. I came back only to settle the estate. And I wrote those letters to Celestine not because I loved her, but because I couldn't forgive myself for loving no one. He met her gaze. Until your words found me. Silence. Rain tapped the attic window. You said goodbye, he whispered, but I never said I wanted you to leave. She stared at him. Her heart, which had long learned to protect itself, cracked open. You still want me? Even after knowing the truth? Especially after. They stood in the attic, the letters scattered around them like petals from a long-lost spring. Two broken hearts stitched together by paper, ink, and truth. And for once, Druvis didn't feel invisible. She felt seen, loved, real. 6 months later, Druvis no longer worked as a maid. She lived in a small sunlit house near the woods, with a garden full of tulips and rosemary. She spent her mornings writing and her afternoons editing a book of collected letters, hers and his. Sebastian visited often, though never stayed long. He was always traveling, managing the sale of his family's assets, donating the proceeds to rebuild the communities they once destroyed. He was trying, truly trying to make things right. But something gnawed at Druvis. She began to notice inconsistencies, small things in Sebastian's stories. He once claimed he had left the country for years, yet someone at the local post office recalled seeing him around often during that time. He said he'd written the final letter to Celestine a week before she found it, but its envelope was much older. One day, she returned to the attic and searched the floorboard again. She counted the letters. The first was dated 8 years ago. The last, supposedly from a week ago, had the same ink, same parchment, same scent. She pulled the envelope to her nose. Dusty, old, untouched for years. Her heart pounded. She confronted Sebastian. Did you write that last letter recently? He hesitated. Yes, of course. No, she said, voice shaking. You didn't. That letter had been sitting for years, I can tell, which means you never wrote to me, not knowingly. Sebastian stared at her, then lowered his head. I didn't know you were replying. I hadn't been back in this house in a decade. Those letters, they were meant for someone else. Tears rose in Druvis's eyes. So who has been writing me back? Sebastian slowly pulled a folded piece of paper from his coat. I wasn't going to show you this, but you deserve the truth. He handed her a letter. It was in a different handwriting, neater, colder. It read, She's falling for him just as you planned. Soon she'll be in too deep to leave, and when she learns who really wrote the first letter, it will be too late. The signature, R.M. Druvis's knees buckled. Who is R.M.? Sebastian looked pained. My brother, Raymond, the real author of the last few letters. He forged a few in my name. He found out who you were. He wanted revenge on your family. Thought breaking your heart would settle some old score. Druvis felt like the floor was giving way beneath her. Did you know? Not until recently. When I found this letter, I confronted him. We haven't spoken since. I came to you because I needed to fix what he broke. Tears streamed down her face. All this time, I wasn't falling for you. I was falling for someone pretending to be you. Sebastian stepped back, ashamed. I understand if you never want to see me again. Druvis looked away, her world unraveling. But in her heart, she remembered the letters that saved her. The words weren't real, but the feelings were. The healing was, even if the messenger was false. She turned back to Sebastian. I need time to figure out what was real and what was just a beautiful lie. And with that, she walked away. 1 year later, Druvis published her book, Letters to a Stranger, with an afterword that read, "Some letters are fiction, some are truth, but what matters is who you become after you read them." She never heard from Raymond again. As for Sebastian, he still wrote. Not letters, but emails, postcards, the occasional hand-delivered note. And one day, Druvis found herself writing back, not to Celestine, not as a stranger, but as herself, Druvis.